Good, good morning, everyone here in the building. Good morning to all of those who have joined us by Zoom. And welcome to this Sunday morning service here at the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship in Laguna Beach. We are so glad that you have joined us today for worship. My name is Pamela Floodman, and I have the honor of being able to serve as the worship associate this morning. And we know that the service is possible because of the dedicated contributions from all of you, from everyone who works together to make things happen here at UUFLB. Those who are providing audio-visual expertise and Zoom technology and our beautiful music, arranging our speakers, overseeing the communications within our community and making sure they get out to those who want to receive them, caring for this building, and really taking care of all of the details to enable the work that we can do together as community. So I want to say a big thank you to everyone. We gather together as a community of seekers to honor the interdependence of life, to respect the dignity of all peoples, and to honor this land that we walk humbly upon. And so this morning and every morning, let us acknowledge that we walk upon the traditional territories of the Ahashiman and Tongva peoples, the original nations of this land, people who continue to live here and to cry out for justice and for self-determination. And we are committed to respecting and enhancing the sovereignty of these indigenous peoples. We recognize that we truly are blessed that we have this space and this opportunity to strive to live out our principles, to bring justice, equity, and compassion into our daily lives, to resist all that threatens the earth and her peoples, and to live out our shared dream of a world community of peace, liberty, and justice for all. And I'm reminded humbly that the words that we speak, these sentiments that we share here and that we share when we leave UUFLB, these make a difference. We truly can make a difference by holding true to what we believe and by speaking our truths. So let us carry these thoughts forward as we journey and as we worship together. And we are delighted today to welcome back to UUFLB Yvette McDonnell as our guest minister. It is a challenging time. Today, Yvette will be inviting us to join her on a journey of resilience and of hope. How can we navigate this delicate balance between hope and rage, the rage that I think many of us feel? How can we transform these powerful emotions into a source of strength? So this morning, Yvette's inviting us to explore with her the profound ways we can harness our feelings to empower ourselves and our communities. In the words of Bob Marley and the Wailers, which we just heard, we can get up and stand up for the right, not give up the fight. So today, let us find our voices, uplift one another, and cultivate a future filled with purpose and possibility. Each Sunday, anywhere there is a service held in a Unitarian Universalist congregation, a chalice is lit. And the flaming chalice is a symbol for us and a symbol throughout the world of our faith. So if you've joined us this morning by Zoom, I invite you, if you wish, to light a chalice within your home. And I have asked Sherry Keith to come forward today and light our chalice here within the fellowship to begin our worship. And so as Sherry comes forward, I'll tell you that our chalice lighting words today are from the Reverend Dr. Petr Samoyski, who is minister of the Prague Unitarian Church. May this flame we light remind us that every one of us can bring the light of love to the world. May this clear flame be a symbol that every heart can burn bright with joy, peace, and harmony. May the wisdom of the ages speak to us through this flame and stay in us. Every one of us can be a blessing to the world. So thank you very much, Sherry, for lighting the chalice. Perfect. So thank you for lighting the chalice as we begin our time of worship together. And Sherry is also lighting for us over at the side of the sanctuary. If you're here in the building, you can come forward at any point to light a candle here in the sanctuary in recognition of whatever it is that you're carrying in your heart as you join us for worship today. And at UUFLB, we are a welcoming congregation, which means that we're committed to working together to make a difference, to build community within these walls and in the broader world, and to actively dismantle systemic racism and oppression in all of its forms. Whoever you are, whatever has brought you here this morning, whomever you love, no matter your age or your gender, your ancestral or ethnic background, your life experiences, we welcome you to our community of mutual caring and serious intent to grow together as spiritual and ethical beings. And we welcome you to join us in living out our values in the world. And it is such a joy for us to have guests on Sunday mornings. So if we have anyone here this morning for the first or second time, we'd like to get to know you. Is there anyone who's joined us by Zoom as a guest who would like to introduce themselves? And I can see within the building that I recognize all of the faces that are here in the building today. So now we will take just a moment to turn to our neighbors for a quick greeting and to offer personal welcome to old and to new friends. I think Carolyn wanted to say something.
I will say welcome to all of the guests here on Zoom. I see quite a few unfamiliar boxes on my Zoom board. So welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining. Sheena Foster from Maryland.
Hey, Sheena from Maryland. And hello, everyone. Bijet. And we have Carolyn over here. Hi, it's so good to see your faces. See Rob and Alice. I like your statue picture. And then we have Kelly and Anjali and Denise. Thank you all for showing up today. I hope you enjoy your time here with us today.
Bijet, thank you for the cheat sheet. I was going to try to say that and I was going to mess it up so bad.
Bijet is a friend from Maine.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to everyone.
Get my mic back first. Thank you, everyone, for joining us here at UUFLB this morning. And we hope that you have a few minutes to stay afterwards and enjoy coffee and conversation. And we'll keep the iPad open after the service in the back as well so that you can connect with the folks who've joined us today by Zoom. And if you're visiting us this morning, you can let us know if you'd like to be added to our email list. So if there's anyone on Zoom who would like to be added to the email list, go ahead and put the information in the chat so that we can capture it, and then you can receive advance notice of each service and of other events. Now, just for a few brief announcements, and I'll start with announcing our upcoming services. So next Sunday is the start of March, which is quite amazing to me. And throughout the month of March, we have several speakers lined up for you who are regular returning visiting speakers for us here at UUFLB. As Yvette McDonnell is today a good friend of the conversation whom we see here every few months. Likewise, on March 3rd, our own Dr. Ross Quinn will be leading our service. Is it March 2nd? My vision is really not very good. It is March 2nd. And then March 9th, Cesar Cardona, an amazing storyteller, will be joining us again here in person to lead the service. Jennifer Springsteen on March 16th, who is a UU chaplain from the East Coast, who's joined us several times previously. And then on March 23rd, Reverend Casey Marie Pandel, who is the minister with the church in Santee, I believe the UU church in Santee, and she'll be leading our service on that day. So some wonderful upcoming services. For other announcements, I also wanted to remind us, as is the case each week, if Dawn goes to the next slide, we do have a Zoom at noon group that meets on Mondays as a way to build community and fellowship and for people to connect with each other. And thank you, Paul, for leading that group and for everyone who participates in this. If you go back now a slide, Dawn, I'll just bring up the other announcements that I have here. Coming up on March 6th will be the first Thursday of the month in March, and so we as a group will be working together with John Mendonça and Bruce Johnson, who are members of this fellowship and of Tapestry, who coordinate our opportunity to host a meal at the alternative sleeping location. So if you want to find a way to get involved in that, you can speak to Bruce or John or to me or Candy or Paul. As a way to bring a wonderful warm meal to the folks who are staying there at the alternative sleeping location. This week on Tuesday evening, we'll be having our worship committee meeting by Zoom. It's Tuesday at 7 p.m., and I'll be sending out the message later today with the Zoom link to the folks who are regularly a part of the worship committee. But again, there's always an opportunity to join and get involved. If you're interested, speak to me or to Rachel. And then another announcement, which I didn't put on the slide, but I want people to be aware. One of our members, Shannon, has been working on investigating ways that we as a congregation and as a community may be able to make a meaningful connection with the places of worship in the Altadena area and in the Pacific Palisades area that have been so majorly impacted by the fires last month. And there are, Shannon, I think there are 12 congregations that lost their physical places of worship in those two communities. And I know that, we'll be working and talking together with the board about ways in which we can make a meaningful connection with these communities. And I'm just so grateful to Shannon for spearheading this and thinking about some ways that we may be able to do something that would make a difference as a faith community for our neighbors up in Los Angeles County. The last announcement, if Dawn can go to skip forward 2 slides to the building fund. There is an effort within the congregation led by the board to repopulate our building fund. So many of you know that last year it was necessary to do some roof repairs, and these photos show the beautiful work on the roof, which has made a difference, certainly over the last several weeks with the rain that came through. Having a roof that keeps our worship space secure really matters to all of us. And so there has been the start of a special building fund campaign. Dawn, I took on the little thermometer to the right. I had a picture of the thermometer from when you first showed this slide that showed nothing in the fund. I do know that my family has made a donation to the fund, so I put a little bit of a red block in there. I don't know that it's accurate for where the fund sits now, and maybe over the coming weeks as we bring forward the reminders about this fund, we can actually set up that thermometer so that it's accurate. So that we refurbish those funds so that we have funds for the future as needs come up. I think that's all of the announcements that I had. So now, as we move into our time of worship, I invite you all to please stand as you are comfortable in body, mind, or spirit, and join Carol in singing our opening hymn, number 123, Spirit of Life. And our guest speaker, Yvette McDonnell, has specifically asked for this hymn. I know that she finds it to be a really meaningful hymn, and it's so beautiful to hear our music director lead us in this hymn. We'll be singing the words through first in English and then in Spanish. So please join us.
Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. Fuente d'amor, ven hacia mí. Il corazón cántele tu compasión. Sopla subir del mar hasta mañana la justicia de la vida.
So it is now my honor and my pleasure to introduce our speaker this morning, Yvette McDonnell, a good friend of this congregation who has been here often, a companion spiritual ritualist, and a dedicated interfaith chaplain. Yvette has roots in the Black Baptist tradition and embraces the branches of the many ways of knowing. Yvette also has a robust background in social justice, working to support marginalized communities, and helping all of us confront and explore our biases. She's a busy person. She holds a master's degree in social change and certificates in multi-religious and chaplaincy studies from the UU Seminary Starr King School for the Ministry. She's on a path to becoming an ordained UU minister, and I enjoyed reading that in her personal life, she enjoys dancing, taking long walks, engaging in arts and crafts, and baking and gardening, and creating herbal medicines. And we are just honored to have you here, Yvette, to lead us in worship this morning.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. First, I'd like to say thank you to Carol for your beautiful rendition of Carolyn McDay's cherished song, Spirit of Life. Your music calls us to worship, inviting us to embrace the moment fully and completely. Music and poetry are this superpower that have an opportunity to root us in the present and here and now, and engage our hearts and our minds, and providing a source of strength when we need it the most. And as we gather here today on February 23rd, I invite you to reflect on the significance of Black History Month. For me, this month has always been a time to honor the achievements the struggles, the resilience, and the future of Black Americans and people of the African diaspora. I invite you to close your eyes or lower your gaze as we set a sacred tone for our gathering today. I ask you to reflect, feel, and visualize the words of the late great poet Sonia Sanchez in her piece, Haiku and Tanka for Harriet Tubman, followed by an extra musical video selection. Picture a woman riding thunder on the legs of slavery. Picture her kissing our spines, saying no to the eyes of slavery. Picture her rotating the earth into a shape of lives becoming. Picture her leaning into the eyes of our birth clouds. Picture this woman saying no to the constant yes of slavery. Picture a woman jumping rivers, her legs inhaling moons. Picture her ripe with seasons of legs running. Picture her tasting the secret corners of woods. Picture her saying, "You have within you the strength, the patience, the passion to reach for the stars to change the world." Imagine her words. Every great dream begins with a dreamer. Imagine her saying, "I freed 1,000 slaves. I could free 1,000 more if they only knew they were slaves." Imagine her humming, "How many days we got for we taste freedom." Imagine a woman asking, "How many workers for this quilt?" Picture her saying, "A live runaway could do great harm by going back, but a dead runaway could tell no secrets." Picture the daylight bringing her to woods full of birth moons. Picture John Brown shaking her hands 3 times, saying, "General Tubman, General Tubman, General Tubman." Picture her words, "There's 2 things I got a right to, death and liberty." Picture her saying no to a play called Uncle Tom's Cabin, "I am real thing." Picture a Black woman, could not read or write, trailing freedom refrains. Picture her face turning southward, walking toward a southern road. Picture this woman freedom bound, tasting a people's preserved breath. Picture this woman of royalty, wearing a crown of morning air. Picture her walking, running, reviving a country's breath. Picture Black voices leaving behind lost tongues.
Where is she? Come on back, peaceful.
Whoa, easy now.
I'm gonna be free or die.
I've been walking with my face turned to the sun. Weight on my shoulders, a bullet in my gun. Oh, I got eyes in the back of my head, just in case I have to run. I do what I can when I can, while I can for my people. While the clouds roll back and the stars fill the night. That's when I'm gonna stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home, far across the river. Can you hear freedom calling, calling me to answer? Gonna keep on keeping on. I can feel it in my bones.
You have made it 100 miles to freedom. Would you like to pick a new name to mark your freedom?
Paradigm.
Early in the morning, before the sun begins to shine, we're gonna start moving towards that separating line. I'm wading through muddy waters. You know I got a made up mind, and I don't mind if I lose any blood on the way to salvation. And I'll fight with the strength that I got until I die. So I'm gonna stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home, far across the river. Can you hear freedom calling, calling me to answer? Gonna keep on keeping on.
Harriet, welcome to the Underground Railroad.
And I know what's around the bend might be hard to face 'cause I'm alone, and I just might fail, but Lord knows I'll try. Shine stars stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home, far across the river. Can you hear freedom calling, calling me to answer? Gonna keep on keeping on. I'm gonna stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home, far across the river. Do you hear freedom calling, calling me to answer? Gonna keep on keeping on. I'm gonna stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home, far across the river. I hear freedom calling, calling me to answer. Gonna keep on keeping on. I can feel it in my bones. I go to prepare a place for you. I go to prepare a place for you. I go to prepare a place for you. I go to prepare a place for you.
Let us take a moment now to remind ourselves why we come together as a community. I invite you to read the words of our unison affirmation together when and if it feels right for you. And those who have joined us by Zoom may want to unmute your microphones, and then your voice can be joined together with all of the voices here in the fellowship building, because we are one community. The words of the unison affirmation will be on your screens, and I invite you to join me together in reading. May we be reminded here of our highest
aspirations and
inspired to bring our gifts
of love and service to the altar of humanity.
May we
May we know once again that we are not isolated beings, but connected in history and miracle to the universe, to this community, and to each other.
And now we have come to a time in our service to briefly share the important events, the joys and the concerns that have touched our lives in the past week. During this time of sharing joys and concerns, we have paused the recording of the service, as we recognize moving into the time of offering that it is a blessing for us to be able to give, and it is a blessing to be able to receive. And this is a self-governing, self-sustaining community where we have an obligation and a responsibility to both give and receive and to do both well. So during the time of offering, we will have beautiful music from Carol as we pass a basket within the fellowship, and the information on the screen gives additional ways in which you can give. Please stand now as you are comfortable and join us as we sing to each other the words of gratitude. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live.
From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live.
We will now have just a short time of silent meditation as we prepare ourselves to hear the words that Yvette has brought to us. I invite you to sit comfortably in your chair with your feet grounded below you. Allow your shoulders to relax and follow your breath in and out. In and out. Allow your mind to clear as we have a short time of silent meditation.
Good morning. Oh boy, what was that? Okay. All right. Oh, can you all hear me okay? All right, that sounds better. Good morning and good afternoon and good evening to everyone that's here today, no matter where you are joining us in the world. Thank you for being here, especially when you could have chosen to be anywhere, but you've chosen this moment to share time and space with us here at the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Laguna Beach. I would like to extend my gratitude to the worship team for always welcoming me and inviting me to be a part of your sacred space, to Don West Jr. for the technical support, for without it, I would not be able to be zoomed in today. So thank you. And I know that we have some new people joining us. And for those of you who are new here, my name is Yvette McDonnell, and I am a spiritual companion ritualist, an interfaith chaplain. I'm a curandera, a root woman, a sage, seer, wise woman, and in many places, I need no name at all. My roots are in the Black tradition of the Baptist Church, and my branches spread wide and far to offer the many ways of knowing that exist in the world, in this world and the world beyond. And many of you may already know me and the heart of my ministry, while others are just beginning this journey with us today. And before I really begin to share my message with you, I want to take a moment to reflect on the transformative power of the work that I actually do. My ministry is deeply intertwined with love, healing, hope, and uplifting those who have been historically marginalized by society and its systems of oppression. I believe that my calling to social justice was woven into my very being long before I even entered into this world. It is not defined by a hiring committee or confined by any organization. It is a divine purpose that cannot be overshadowed or diminished. My work transcends the boundaries of any executive order. Now, I'm going to just say that again, right? And this is the part of my Baptist roots coming out. My work transcends, it moves beyond any executive order anybody might sign into play, because I am here to do the work that I've been ordained to do. And I do this work with the best that I can given day to day, and I try to do it with compassion. I try to do it with empathy. But to be perfectly honest with you, right now, my best, my emotional landscape, if you will, shifts from moment to moment, looking very much like some type of sitcom going off the rails as I watch our country being ignited like a dumpster fire. It's as though I'm navigating this chaotic buffet of emotions of rage as the main meal, with a splash of sadness and a pinch of fear and a heaping side of frustration. And all of this is served with the finest, the finest glass of what on earth is happening in the world. But through all of this wild roller coaster ride of emotions that I'm on, there's a part of me that is completely and utterly unbothered, calm, ease. These emotions, I like to call them hope. And this hope that I feel in my body, it's like this constant vibration of a hum that's deep within my soul. You might be wondering, what is this relationship that I have with hope, and how can you get yourself some of it, right? Well, let's try to understand what hope is. So, according to Oxford Dictionary, hope is merely a feeling of expectation and desire for something to happen. But hope is so much more to me, and it transcends that definition. For me, hope is is vibrant. It's like this vibrant force. It's alive and it's breathing. And it carries the whispers of my ancestors whose legacies are buried in the past and ignites a fire within my spirit. For me, hope is the alternative reality that has yet to be created. Now I'm just going to be quiet just for a moment so that can just wash all through you, right? I said that hope, right? Hope is the alternative reality that has yet to be created. You're all probably like, Yvette, what on earth does that mean? Let me tell you. Every day I get up and I stand in front of the mirror and I am reminded that I am the actualization of my ancestors' dreams and hopes. I am the alternate reality that they dreamed about. I am their resilience. And during the moments that I have rage, anger, and sadness and fear, it is this idea of hope that grounds me to move me forward each and every day. I find hope in art and its many forms, whether it's music or dance or poetry, visual art, conjuring and manifesting. Hope through art serves as a place where the impossible is possible. And just 2 weeks ago, during the Super Bowl, my spiritual cup, if you will, was filled with hope and inspiration as I witnessed Kendrick Lamar's halftime showcase. If you missed it, I urge you to seek it out. It was more than just entertainment. It was a powerful statement filled with all kinds of depth and meaning. I also highly recommend watching last week's sermon here at UUFLB, where Don West Jr., who is here with us today, he illuminated the rich symbolism in Kendrick Lamar's manifesto. In my opinion, now this is just my opinion, Kendrick's message resonates not just for Black individuals, but for all marginalized voices facing oppression in our society, especially today. By Lamar using his platform as such, in such a prominent event, he reminded me that we are not powerless, that we are a collective force, that we will not be erased, no matter how much the infamous they have tried to erase us and will continue to try. We're not going anywhere. Kendrick's manifesto was a call to unity, a call for resilience as we face adversity, inspiring me to stand together against the forces of oppression and fascism and supremacy that seek to divide us. Lamar said is bigger than the music, and he was so right. He is so right. So as I dance in my living room singing, they not like us, they not like us, they not like us, and Luther and Squabble Up, I could feel my emotions starting to balance themselves out. It was my cup of hope that was being filled again. And on February 11th, my cup was filled to the brim once more when I learned that the Unitarian Universalist Association had joined with over 24 Christian and Jewish denominations in countering the current injustices by the current administration. They proudly filed a lawsuit against the president's administration. I was going to say their name, but I'm not going to. Against the new policy that permits immigration raids and enforcement actions in our sacred spaces of worship. Hope is created in an alternative reality, and it shows up when you least expect it. I received an unexpected boost to my cup of hope on the Friday before MLK Day this year. I had attended a Shabbat of interfaith harmony celebration featuring a unity choir along with clergy from Mainline Reform Temple and Beth Israel and Zion Baptist Church. So 2 synagogues and a Baptist church. They've been getting together for 30 years. The Friday, the Shabbat before MLK Day, and then on Monday to celebrate. And there I met a Jewish South African elder woman. I met her husband. She introduced me to her daughter, her grandkids who were singing in the choir. And, you know, this woman felt like an old friend. And we sat next to each other and we were chatting it up a bit before the service. And at the end of the service, everyone in the temple was invited to hold hands and sing, "We Shall Overcome." Now, I might get a lot of flack for this, but I gotta be honest with you, that is not one of my most favorite songs. Okay. And despite knowing the history of the song and how it served many during the civil rights movement and many worldwide as a song of resistance, it just, you know, it's just not one of my particularly favorite songs. But that night, however, that song took on a new meaning. As I held the hand of the South African Jewish woman, and we started to sing, I noticed her singing with such passion, while tears were coming down her eyes, you know, coming down on her face. And when we were leaving, she shared that she'd come to the United States 50 years ago. She had left South Africa during apartheid. And she said that song was outlawed during apartheid. She says, we weren't allowed to sing it. It's like, wow, okay. I know things, you know, here, you know, during the civil rights movement, the thing that kept the ancestors and the elders today going was the music. So when she said that it was outlawed, it was banned, and they were not allowed to sing it, my heart really sunk. And then she leaned in and she had this little mischievous smile, little smirk on her face. And she says, but you know what? She whispered, she says, I used to quietly play it on my guitar and I would sing it. She says, so now when I hear the song, she says, I just sing it so loud. And she did. And then she gave me a hug. You know, I don't remember this woman's name, but I do remember the impact that her story had on me. And it will stay with me forever as a piece of hope. Finding hope during tough times is not always easy, but it is there. I promise you that it is there. And I invite you to look for just the small things in your everyday life. Look into your dreams. Look to things that inspire you, whether you're dancing or singing, creating, like just moving your body, whether you're yelling to the top of your lungs and screaming, all of those things are going to open the portal of hope. And I invite you to let your emotions, the sadness, the rage, the frustration, the unknowing, to mingle with that sense of hope that's alive and thriving and breathing. And I ask you to create an alternative reality that has yet to be seen. I ask you to live in the space of hope to ensure that you are on the right side of history. And now I'd like to invite you to sing muted. I invite you to sing "We Shall Overcome." Thank you so much. Ashe, amen, and may it be so.
In the process of working throughout the South and going to jail and getting beat and being in mass meetings and singing, there's one particular song that became the theme song of this movement. It is a powerful song. You can go anywhere in the world today where there is struggle, and you will find this song, and you will still see people in the streets marching and singing it. It is our gift to the world people in struggle. We want to ask you to stand up and cross your right hand over left and sing with us, We Shall Overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. Lord, we shall overcome.
And as we close today,
Oh, thank you so much, Yvette. Goodness, I'm just taking a moment to breathe and think. Now is the time for us to extinguish the chalice here at UUFLB and within our homes. So I'm going to invite Sherry back up to extinguish the chalice, if she would, while I read chalice extinguishing words from Brian Keeley. The chalice is extinguished, but its light lives on in the minds and the hearts and the souls and the hope of each one of us. Let us carry the flame with us and share it with those we know, with those we love, and most especially with those we have yet to meet.
dear beloveds, I close our time together today with a love letter that I wrote with you all in mind. In the midst of life's chaos and uncertainties, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. The weight of the world can make the heart heavy, especially when faced with challenges to democracy, women's rights, and those of marginalized communities. I know a host of emotions can ebb and flow before you have even finished your morning cup of coffee. Yet we have weathered storms before. We, meaning the connection we share with humanity and history, it certainly hasn't been easy. We faced many losses and hardship, but we also have found resilience and strength. We have fought like Harriet. We have been to the mountaintop with Martin. We have been to Stonewall with Marsha P. Johnson. We have armed ourselves by any means necessary like Malcolm. We know that the revolution will not be televised, as Gil Scott Heron said. We move like Michelle Obama, knowing that courage can be contagious and take on a life of its own. We bring our own folding chair to the table when there isn't a seat for us, just as Shirley Chisholm said to do. We have seen the unimaginable, and yet we still have courage to rise up and continue to fight. Take a moment for yourself, dear one. Breathe gently and be kind to your heart. Don't forget to laugh and seek connections within your community. Rally in solidarity with those whose voices they are trying to silence, even though we will never, never disappear. Beloved, you are not alone in this struggle. Your feelings are valid, and it's okay to experience them fully. It's okay to lay down your burden from time to time and pick them up later for when they're not going anywhere. So you can scream and you can yell and you can breathe deeply and pray and meditate, dance, create, and engage. Know that your best will look different day to day, and that's part of the journey. Keep on keeping on, beloved. And I invite you to sing UUFLB's closing song, Let There Be Peace on Earth. Amen and ashe, and may it be so.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With earth as our mother, we are family. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow. To take each moment, live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Have a great day, everybody.